The earliest chapters of Genesis document a baseline state for the original human environment. It was a condition of perfect peace and absolute harmony between the earth and its caretakers. The ecosystem was flawless, devoid of physical pain, decay, and zero mortality. A single foundational legal parameter governed this paradise. The Creator issued one absolute prohibition. Humans were forbidden from consuming the fruit from the tree located in the absolute center of the garden. When humans broke this specific parameter, the perfect operating conditions of the environment collapsed. The violation of this single law serves as the definitive pivot point for all human history. The fallout from this breach was massive in scale. We see the exact moment a previously unstained environment degrades into a system corrupted by sin and death. The Apostle Paul summarizes the mechanism of this transition. By one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. To understand the origin of the pain, labor, and mortality inherent in the modern human condition, we have to look closely at the mechanics of this event. We need to forensically break down the exact procedural steps of the original cosmic transgression. The instigator of this crime, identified as the serpent, does not initiate a physical assault. Instead, he relies on psychological subversion and carefully deployed misinformation. This diagram shows the tempter's method against the absolute law. First, doubt. Yea, hath God said. Next, direct contradiction, denying mortality. Ye shall not surely die. Finally, appealing to ambition. Ye shall be as gods. The psychological manipulation succeeds, leading to the physical execution of the crime. The woman evaluates the tree, seeing it is good for food, pleasant to the eyes, and desirable for wisdom. She takes the fruit, eats it, and hands it to her husband, who also eats, completing the cosmic transgression. The psychological fallout hits instantly. Their eyes are opened, but instead of achieving godhood, they experience immediate physical vulnerability. They realize they are naked, and in a rudimentary attempt to conceal their shame, they sew fig leaves together to make aprons. When they hear the voice of the Creator walking in the garden, their very first instinct is to run and hide among the trees. This reaction proves the internal psychological damage of the transgression took root immediately. The guilt was active long before any formal trial or arraignment began. Next comes the arraignment. The Creator interrogates the transgressors and issues a series of inescapable, highly targeted verdicts to each party involved. The instigating serpent receives the first sentence. It is physically degraded, cursed to go upon its belly and eat dust. Furthermore, an eternal state of hostility or enmity is established between the serpent and humanity. For the woman, the localized judgment introduces deep physical sorrow. Her pain and conception in childbirth are exponentially multiplied. The verdict also guarantees interpersonal friction, stating her desire will be toward her husband, and he shall rule over her, injecting a permanent power struggle into human relationships. For the man, the cooperative environment is cursed. The earth produces thorns and thistles. Guaranteeing survival requires agonizing labor. Finally, the ultimate decree of physical mortality. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. These combined verdicts establish the baseline physical and relational struggles of the modern world. The decree rewrote the rules of existence, altering ecology, fracturing relationships, and imposing an expiration date on human life. Following the sentencing, there is a logical necessity for the execution phase. The humans must be physically expelled from the Garden of Eden. This prevents them from accessing the Tree of Life, which would lock them into living eternally in their newly corrupted, broken state. To enforce this exile, the pathway back is permanently sealed. The Creator places cherubim alongside a turning, flaming sword to block any return to the pristine before state. Cherubim are a high-ranking order of celestial beings, often depicted as guardians of sacred spaces. The record follows a transition from a very good creation to one stained by the consequences of the breach. Peace gave way to a stained and painful existence. However, buried within the sentence passed on the serpent, a specific anomaly appears. The text shifts from judgment toward a prophecy of future restoration. The creator speaks of a promised seed descending from the woman. This chart maps the prophesied interaction between the two forces. The future figure will suffer a temporary, minor wound, described as a bruised heel. In return, this figure will inflict a fatal, definitive blow, completely crushing the serpent's head. This forensic breakdown of the first crime maps the origin of all human suffering and physical mortality. Yet, by securing that final fatal blow against the instigator, this arraignment serves as the exact moment ultimate cosmic redemption was established.